Welcome back to online teaching session of Academic World School, Bemitra. Today it is my last lecture on resource and development. I mean to say the lecture number 4. And be careful, be attentive. While I shall be teaching, you have to be very much attentive. Take out your notebook and textbook and note down everything whatever I have written or whatever I shall write. And in the end of the session you shall get some assignments. I shall write assignments here and you will note it down, and remember all these assignments have to be completed by you, and take the pic of these assignments and post it in ERP message box. And remember, these assignments are compulsory and the mark of these assignments have to be added to PT1. So from this point of view, how much important these assignments are, you can understand. So my today's subtopics are land degradation and measures to curb land degradation. Okay, so let me start with land degradation. What is land degradation? Degradation means decline in the quality. You must have seen there are some people who misbehave with others. They do not show the right behavior. What they will be called in that case? It is called that their character has degraded. When people misbehave, it means this is the degradation of the character. In the same way, when there is degradation of land, when there is degradation of soil quality, it is called land degradation. So meaning of land degradation is decline in the quality of the land. Okay. Decline in the quality of land is called land degradation. Decline in the quality of land is called land degradation. Note it down. Very important definition. Okay, next. Next I am going to discuss about soil erosion. And you know that soil erosion is one of the important part of land degradation. When there has been soil erosion, it also means that there has been degradation of the land. Okay, so what is soil erosion? When the removal of the top layer of soils, either by flowing water or blowing wind, it is called soil erosion. So it is clear, it is simple. What is soil erosion? The removal of top layer of the soils, either by flowing water or blowing wind, is known as soil erosion. I am writing here the removal of top layer of soils, either by flowing water or blowing wind, is called soil erosion. Write it down. The removal of top layer of soils, either by flowing water or blowing wind, is called soil erosion. Next I am going to discuss about how many types of soil erosions are there. There are two types of soil erosions. One is gullies and the second one is seat erosion. So let me start with gullies. Note it down. gullies. Actually, what happens due to continuous flow of water? What happens in the plain area? Deep narrow channels are formed. The continuous flow of water leads to deep cut in the plain area. Deep narrow channels are formed, and all these make the ground unfit for cultivation. How can you imagine with a land plot having so many narrow channels cut down by the flowing water? It is not possible for the farmers to cultivate such field. Okay, so gullies, formation of gullies is very much harmful for our agriculture. From agriculture point of view, it is very much harmful. It hampers our farmers. Farmers are unable to cultivate such fields. Okay, so I am writing the definition of this also. Gullies are deep, narrow channels dug out in the plain areas due to continuous flow of water. And remember, it frequently occurs in plain areas. It frequently occurs in plain areas. Okay, gullies are deep narrow channels dug out in the plain areas due to the continuous flow of water. It frequently occurs in the plain areas. Next, I am going to discuss about seat erosion. Seat erosion. Seat erosion is the removal of top layer of the soil. Actually, it frequently occurs in the slopy area wherever there are mountains. Okay, on such mountains, seat erosion takes place. On the slope of the mountains, seat erosion takes place. The removal of the soil by the running water. Okay, so removal of top layer of soils by the running water is called seat erosion. Okay, removal of top layer of soils by the running water is called seat erosion. Next, it takes place on the slope of the mountains. It takes place on the slope of the mountains. So these are very important: seat erosion, gullies. Okay, so note it down. Next, I am going to discuss about the causes behind land degradation. So here the plus point is that, suppose if you are asked what are the causes behind land degradation or what are the causes behind soil erosion, then same points will be needed. See here, deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying, over irrigation, overuse, mineral processing industries. These are the common points for both causes behind land degradation and causes behind soil erosion. Okay, and in the same way, if you are asked how land degradation can be controlled or how soil erosions can be controlled, they do have also the common points. See, these are the measures to curb land degradation or soil erosion. Okay, both the topics do have the common points: afforestation, control on overgrazing, control of mining activities, proper management of industrial waste, control on over irrigation, strip farming, contour farming, shelter belt, mulching, and stabilization of sand dunes. Now each of the point is going to be described by me in detail. Okay. Don't think that just I shall tell these are the points, and over, the topic is over. I am not going to do that. Each point is going to be explained by me. Let me start with first number point: deforestation. It is one of the major causes behind land degradation. Okay, so how does deforestation lead to degradation of the land, or how does deforestation lead to soil erosion? You know how much important is the tree for the control of our climate? Tree, plants, green vegetations, they do play a significant role in controlling the climate of a place. Take the example of leaves. It is involved in transpiration. Okay, it helps in transpiration, and you know what happens during the transpiration? Water vapor is lost, and this water vapor forms the cloud, and ultimately it leads to rainfall. So rainfall is occurring because of what? Because of tree. If tree is there, rainfall will occur regularly. In the absence of the tree, there will be no rainfall, and it will lead to formation of the desert like Thar Desert or Sahara Desert. Okay. Next thing, leaves. That is green vegetation, plants. Okay, they do take carbon dioxide. We release carbon dioxide, they do take carbon dioxide. Okay, and you know the decrease in the content of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere keeps the climate cool. It saves us from global warming. It doesn't lead to global warming. Okay, next thing, green vegetation. You know that in your surrounding you must have seen speed breaker, and when we drive our vehicle, suddenly when we come across the speed breaker, our vehicle gets slow. So in the same way, the green vegetation checks the flood. Okay, it slow down the speed of the flow of water. It acts as a speed breaker in the way of the flow of water, and conserves the soil. Next thing, its roots. Roots are also important. You must have seen when the plants are uprooted, soils also come out. It clearly indicates that the roots of the plants hold the soil. So, what are the merits of growing the trees, growing the plants, vegetation? They do hold the soils, they do bind the soils, and ultimately soils remain conserved. So, these are the benefits of afforestation. Okay, they do play a significant role in the control of our climate. Next thing, soil erosion stops. The roots of the trees bind the soil, and thus the soils remain conserved. Okay, and what happens during the deforestation when trees are cut down on a large scale? In the absence of trees, in the absence of grasses, soil erosion takes place. Why? Because soils get exposed now. Okay, continuously the action of wind, the action of water act upon these soils, and these soils are washed away, or these soils are blown away, and our land becomes devoid of fertile soils. Okay, so this is the demerits of deforestation. Deforestation leads to land degradation or soil erosion. Next, overgrazing. How does overgrazing lead to land degradation? Actually, what happens when our cattle are released in the field, and they do consume grasses too much? It is overgrazing. I am not against grazing of the cattle. They must be allowed to graze in the field, but there must be a certain periphery. Within that periphery, they must graze in the field. Okay, if overgrazing takes place, then ultimately the grasses will vanish, the grasses will disappear, and our soils will get exposed, and anytime they can be blown away by the wind, at any time they can be washed away by the flowing water. So overgrazing also leads to land degradation. Okay. Next, mining and quarrying. It also leads to land degradation. Actually, you know that there are different types of mining: open cast mining, deep pit mining, underground mining. Okay, then quarrying is there. Red hole mining is there. Red hole mining is very much popular in Meghalaya. So all these kinds of mining lead to land degradation. Basically, open cast mining and quarrying, they remove the top layer of the soil, and this way land degradation take place. Okay. Once again I am repeating, open cast mining and quarrying. Quarrying is also kind of mining. Actually, when it is found that the location of the mineral is in the deep shallow pit, not deep pit, shallow pit. Okay, then just only the surface is, little surface is removed and minerals are taken out. Okay, then there is second one, open cast mining. It is deep pit mining. A huge excavation is done to take the minerals out of the mines. Okay, on the other hand, quarrying, only little surface is removed and minerals are taken out. Okay, both are mining and both are harming our land. Okay, so mining and quarrying also leads to degradation of the land. Next is over irrigation. How does over irrigation lead to land degradation? In your book it is written, over irrigation make the soils saline and alkaline. So, okay, over irrigation makes the soil saline and alkaline, and in this way the soils become unfit for the growth of crops. Okay, but I do know that you must not have understood, you must be curious, how does the over irrigation lead to degradation of the land? Okay, how does the over irrigation make the soil saline? How does the over irrigation make the soil alkaline? Okay, now I am going to explain how does it make the soil saline. Actually, what happens that too much irrigation sometimes leads to stagnation of the water in the field. Water gets percolated and becomes constant, and when water is constant in the farmlands, if the salt is there in the water, it settles down and it mixes with the soil, and in this way the soils become saline. The soils become salty, and how can salty be productive for the growth of the crops? Thus the saline soils become unfit for the growth of the crops. Okay. Next thing, sometimes stagnant water make the soil alkaline. How does it make alkaline? Okay. Suppose if metallic oxide is there in the soils, once again I am repeating, if metallic oxides are there in the soils, what happens that it reacts with the water and then it leads to formation of metallic hydroxide. And what is metallic hydroxide? It is alkalis. Okay, in this way the soils are receiving alkalis. Once again I am repeating, metallic oxide existing in soil reacts with water, leads to formation of alkalis, leads to formation of metallic hydroxide. In this way soils receive metallic hydroxide, alkalis, and soils become alkaline, and alkaline soils are also unfit for the growth of the crops. Okay, so over irrigation leads to degradation of the land. Next, overuse of the land. Overuse of the land is also responsible behind land degradation. I am talking about this point. Suppose if you are having land plot and you are overutilizing it, certainly at one point of time it will lose its fertility. Next, if you are growing same kind of crops, then you do know that different plants require different nutrients. And if you are growing same kind of plants, that particular nutrients will vanish. And that nutrients will become deficient in the soil. The land will become devoid of that particular nutrients. Okay, so too much cultivation, too much that is overuse of the land also leads to degradation of the land. Okay, next, my last point, mineral processing industries. There are some mineral processing industries, they are also responsible behind degradation of the land. I am talking about this point, mineral processing industry. Write it down. Take the example of limestone processing industries, cement processing industries. And cement processing industries release too much ash. And what happens when these ash are released? They settle down on the ground and form thick layer. Okay, and when formation of thick layer on the ground take place, it prevents the percolation of water into the soil. What? It prevents the percolation of water into the soil. It prevents the penetration of the water into the soil. And you know how much moist soil is important for the growth of the crops. So our soils become devoid of moisture and thus become unfit for the growth of the soils. So mineral processing industry is also responsible behind degradation of the land. Okay. Next, one more point cropped up in my mind, I have not written here. Okay, industrial waste are also responsible behind degradation of the land. Industrial waste must be controlled and regulated. And if industrial wastes are released from the industries, they will go out and mix with the water, pollute the water. They will mix with the soil and pollute the soil. So industrial waste also lead to degradation of the land. Next, I am going to discuss about measures to curb the land degradation or measures to curb the soil erosion. Both the topics do have the similar points. I am writing it. Measures to curb land degradation or soil erosion. First, afforestation. Just these points, to write these points is very simple. You have to write opposite of this. Deforestation, afforestation. Okay. Next, control on overgrazing. Opposite of this one. You know what is the importance of vegetation? The roots of the vegetation bind the soil and doesn't lead to soil erosion. It checks the soil erosion, it prevents soil erosion. So green vegetation cover is must. They bind the soil. Okay, that doesn't allow the erosion of the soil. Next, control of mining activities. Okay, mining activities must be done, but within a limit. Too much mining activity also lead to degradation of the soil. Next, proper management of industrial waste. Industrial waste must not be allowed to go out to mix with the soil, to mix with the water. They must be properly managed. Proper management of industrial waste means industrial waste, suppose polluted water of the industries, they must be treated by primary, secondary and tertiary processes and must be reused. They must not be allowed to go out and mix with the soil or mix with the water. Next, control over irrigation. Too much water must not be used. I have already told you that when water is used too much in the field, it leads to stagnation of the water, and stagnation of the water is very much harmful. It makes the soil alkaline and saline. Okay, so over irrigation must be controlled. Next, strip farming. How is strip farming done? In Hindi, strip means patti. So, if strip of crop, strip of grass, if strip of crops, strip of grass are developed on the field, then it stops soil erosion. Okay. Grass, crop, grass, crop. So alternatively, crop grass have to be grown, and this also prevents soil erosion. So this is called strip farming. Next, contour farming. Contour farming is done on the slope of the hills. You know that how much the soils of the slope of the hills are prone to soil erosion, because water gets opportunity to flow down freely, and this leads to washing away of the top layer of the soil. So if contour farming is done on the slope of the hill, it checks the soil erosion. Actually, how is contour farming done? Like this. This is the side view. Front view also I am going to draw. This is hill, and if the crops are grown in this way, this is the bottom line of the hill, and this is called contour line. And along this line, if crops are grown in this way, it stops soil erosion. Actually, what I mean that grooves are dug out, furrows are dug out, and these grooves or furrows act as a speed breaker in the way of the flow of water, and ultimately they are unable to wash away the soils. So in the slopy areas, contour farming is very much beneficial. Okay, on the slope, crops must be grown along the contour line of the hill in this way. Okay, this is called contour farming. It conserves the soil. Next, center belt. The farmland must be fenced with trees and bushes like this. Farmland must be fenced with trees and bushes. So what happens in this case? If the wind blows, it becomes ineffective. It is unable to blow away the soils. Soils remain inside the ground. Okay. By chance, if they are blown away, they collide with the trees and then fall on the ground again. So in this way, the soils remain conserved. The soils are protected by the surrounding trees and bushes. The soils are not allowed to blow away. Okay. So center belts is very much beneficial. If center belts is followed, then it leads to conservation of the soil. Very much effective for the farmers. It must be followed. Next, mulching. One more process is there by which we can conserve our soil. In mulching, what happens? Suppose tree is there, and this is the surrounding area of the tree, and these surrounding areas are covered with dry leaves, then dead straws, dead plants, then this leads to conservation of the soil. Okay, remember one thing, the surrounding areas is covered with dead straws, dead leaves and dead plants. Okay, so if these things are placed around the bottom of the tree, they hold the soils. They doesn't allow the soils to be washed away. So this also leads to conservation of the soil. This process is called mulching. Next, last point, stabilization of sand dunes. Sand dunes means hill of sands, and you know, under the effect of the winds, these sands are easily blown away. And if these sands settle on the fertile land, then our fertile land becomes badly affected. So these sands must not be allowed to be blown away by the wind, and the only way is to practice green vegetation in the sandy areas. So what all kind of vegetation cannot be grown in the sandy areas? There are vegetations like baboon, kikar, acacia, thorny plants. These plants must be grown in the sandy areas, and they will bind the sands and they will not allow the sands to be blown away by the wind. Okay, and our fertile land, which is far away from the sandy area, they will remain conserved. Their soils will remain conserved. They will not receive the sands of the sandy areas. Okay, so stabilization of sand dune is also very much helpful in the maintenance of the fertility of the soil. Okay, I am not talking about the sandy lands, they are not fertile, but their sands will not be blown away and settled on the fertile land. So stabilization of sand dunes is also must. Okay, so these are the important points. Note it down. Measures to curb land degradation or soil erosion, and these are causes behind land degradation or soil erosion. Note it down. And today it was my last lecture, and soon see you in my next video with new chapter, and this chapter will be from history, nationalism in Europe. So from my next video I shall be teaching you all nationalism in Europe with action, emotion and drama. Okay, so lastly I am going to give you assignment. These assignments have to be copied by you and solve it, and at the earliest you have to deposit your assignments. And remember one thing, here I have written just bullet points. What have I written? Bullet points. And when you will be writing, don't use shortcuts. Each points have to be explained by you. Okay, every point must have 2-3 lines explanation. Okay, because of the time limitation I have written only bullet points. When you write in your fair copy, you have to explain each of the point. Every point must have 2-3 lines. Just like when I was explaining orally, every point. Okay. What are the causes behind land degradation Next, suggest measures to control land degradation. One more thing, in ERP I had received a message. One student had asked me, sir, due to lockdown, map is not available in the market. How will I solve this map work? So every problem has got solution, and the easiest solution is hand. You can draw the map, physical map, and then you locate and level. It is easy. I had asked about location of the soils, and it can be easily done by drawing. Okay, you draw the map and then locate and level. So it is very easy. Okay, and don't go for ready-made maps. I do know that due to lockdown, these maps are not available in the market. Okay, draw the map. So stay home, stay safe, take care of your health, and very soon I am going to meet you all with new chapter, nationalism in Europe, with action, emotion and drama. Lots of Dhisum and Dhisum will be there in that chapter. Okay, bye.